Brazil, the fifth biggest country in the world next to Russia, Canada, China and the United States of America. It is famous for its Amazon rainforests and Rio Carnival. Racially mixed societies and diverse cultures are another wonders of the nation. Portugal, which colonized Brazil for 3 centuries, has confirmed this natural and cultural beauty.
Brazil has been discovered in 50,000 100 years. And when the Portuguese arrived in Brazil, the first contact with the autochthons was the Indians. They were so surprised because, and they saw this expression, the vision of paradise. And because people, the Indians lived in a very natural and spontaneous way, because you had this abundance of food, of every kind, fruits, fishes, and etc.
Today, Brazil is a country of emerging democracy and the fastest growing economy in the world. Ethiopia started diplomatic relations with this country to advance mutual socio-economic and political interests.
Ethiopia and Brazil have formed their first diplomatic relations in 1961. 1967, Brazil had opened an embassy in Ethiopia. Ethiopia also opened embassy in Rio de Janeiro in 1968. However, later on, our embassy has been closed, and they have also closed their embassies, though they have continued accrediting their embassy in Cairo to Ethiopia.
In 2005, Brazil has reopened its embassy in Addis Ababa to enhance the socio-economic and political relations between the two countries. Ethiopia has also reopened its embassy in Brazil last year. According to a spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Dina Mufti, Ethiopia has opened its embassy and appointed ambassador to Brazil. This will have an important contribution to further strengthen the bilateral relations of the two countries.
The opening of the embassies in both countries would further strengthen our relationship and mainly would create a conducive atmosphere to exchange experiences in various areas. Since Brazil is one of the fast developing countries, there are a lot of things that we can emulate from Brazil. We can cooperate in the spheres of infrastructure building. We can cooperate in the sphere of energy technologies, biofuels, ethanols. We can cooperate in the areas of investment as well. Trade also could be thought about growing between the two countries.
The difference is really big, because now you can coordinate better what you are doing. You have already 2 important missions that visited Brazil from Ethiopia, that went to Brazil last year. And in this case, it was really very important to work with the Ethiopian embassy. You had an interlocutor there. You could coordinate better, as the consequence of it is that the results are much better, and it keeps us very enthusiastic about what you can do together.
Both Ethiopia and Brazil have had exchanges of high-level government officials visit as part of strengthening their relations. These official visits have laid foundation for the two countries to cooperate more and more on various development sectors.
On top of opening embassies in our respective countries, there are also exchanges of visits of the officials at different levels between the two countries. Even recently, in the last 2 years, there was a visit of the Brazilian former foreign minister to Ethiopia, where he had held discussions with various government institutions in our country. He had a contact with the Ministry of Agriculture, Trade, MOFAD, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well. There was also a reverse visit from our side. There was a visit of the delegations of the Ethiopian Sugar Corporations to Brazil, so as to draw experiences from their technology in the productions of ethanol and others, and to cooperate in other areas of cooperations as well.
When we launched this 5-year development plan in sugar sector, we had to look for the best technologies, the best experiences elsewhere in the world. And Brazil and India are the most outstanding ones with regard to this, and of course Australia and South Africa also. So we decided to benchmark their experiences as a basis for our development. So we had a visit to Brazil last year with the purpose of building up a partnership with the Brazilian sugar sector, be it government and private institutions, where we could share their experience, where they could help us in building our capacity in terms of training, expertise for agriculture, for sugarcane development, for factory processing, for sugarcane research.
Brazil is one of the largest sugar producers and exporters in the world, with a rich experience in the sector. As Ethiopia is also working on expanding the development of its sugar industry through building a number of sugar factories, it will be helpful to learn from the Brazilian experience.
You have a very old tradition. We started to grow sugar, as I said before, in the 600,000 year. We start the colonizers start to identify zones where it could produce sugar, and you have the right land, the right weather conditions, and so it creates a tradition on that and we have accumulated experience in that. So Brazil has almost 500 years of growing sugar, and of course now you are in another moment of this, because from this experience it has been let's say more easier to go to another level, that is the production of ethanol that we are doing now. I think that it is important to consider that you have developed, as I said, a lot of knowledge. And you have a very important institution that the name is Embrapa. Is a Brazilian institution that makes a lot of research and development in all fields. So this is really an important capital factor, if you could say, also one part of this secret to the results that you are having with sugar, because they developed a lot of techniques of soil to take advantage of the conditions of the area where the sugar is being grown, development of equipment. So all the things put together has really created a basis for Brazil to become the first sugar exporter, but also we are able now to, let's say, share our experience with other countries that are interested also in growing sugar.
Aiming to draw lessons from this age-old sugar development experience of Brazil, an Ethiopian delegation paid a visit to that country last year and held discussion with different stakeholders.
We had a discussion with government officials at all levels, with research institute, Embrapa, which is the most famous research institute in Brazil, world famous institution, which would hopefully help us in training our researchers, and sending their researchers here to coach us on the job. And also we visited private sugar companies which have a very large farm up to 1,000 hectares or more, and we were able to have discussions with different training and research institutes and companies, and the result was we have learned that Brazil has developed its sugar development in two ways. One, in producing sugar itself. Second, in producing ethanol at high standard and quality and minimum cost. We had asked them to help us in training our manpower, in helping us in establishing the systems of large-scale plantation and factory processes, and in establishing our research institution for sugar development. They have agreed to this, and with the help of UNDP as a facilitator, we have signed a certain memo of understanding, and we are now preparing for having a formal agreement on sugar development cooperation, but that would be fitted into the overall technical assistance agreement between the two countries, which is underway, which is already drafted, and the consultation process is already over, and the high-level delegation would be having a summit in the near future to formalize and to sign all the agreements, not only on sugar but on agriculture and on other aspects.
This year, in 2012, the Brazilian business delegation is also planning to visit Ethiopia.
The objective is to know what is the reality from this mission that comes to Ethiopia in the ground, and what kind of contribution that you could bring, especially in this area that is of irrigation. You have a very strong also knowledge, accumulated knowledge in this field of irrigation, especially in areas, dry areas, how to collect, how to save water, because it's no news for to anybody that water is one of the big issues of our century. So this is one of the main objectives of this, just to start on the ground and to see what can be done and how to transfer technology.
Currently, there is no strong trade and investment relations between Ethiopia and Brazil, but the potential is very huge, as both countries are among the fastest growing economies in the world. Apart from this, Ethiopia has a huge investment potential that can provide a lot to Brazilian investors.
Oh, there is a possibility, there is an ample opportunity to cooperate in investment. I said Brazilian investors can come to Ethiopia, they can invest here. There is a huge opportunity here. We can also boost our trade, and we can strengthen our trade relationship. Technology transfer is one of the areas where we can cooperate as well. Scholarship, our students can go to Brazil and can learn in Brazil and come back, and can be trained in Brazil and come back, so that they can help in human skill, manpower skill, I mean. So the opportunities are ample, but now we have started the relationship anew, and we'll develop on this and we'll capitalize on what we have.
Economic relations between Brazil and Ethiopia are very, very promising. We share, I think that Brazil is in a level of development and of growth that really can, as I said, in relation to sugar, but also in other fields, to